Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So, in last episode, we started up the year 13 season, and we have been a very, very good team so far at this point. You can see we are 50-26, which is the best record in the entire MLB. And yeah, we're just a very good team. And obviously, we're up here at the draft looking to add more prospects, just because obviously we could lose a bunch of players in the offseason as always. But the team has been really, really good, and I hope that this is the year that this team is able to take that step forward in the playoffs. Obviously, we made it to the ALCS back-to-back seasons this year. I hope that we can make it to the World Series. Permitted that we don't get any huge injuries, but you can see our roster doing pretty good for the most part. Some guys dropping off, like Ozzy has been dropping off in production, and he's also dropping a little bit in overall. Same with Sixto, who's dropped to a 95, but Sixto has been still really good. So in general, our batting has been pretty damn solid, but I think the main concern for the stream right now might be still pitching in a way, even though Garth Howe's been good. I think some of these guys have been kind of struggling a little bit. I did look at the FIP numbers, and I think some of them actually have better FIPs, if I'm not mistaken. Like 4.03 is not terrible. It's better than last season, so Sammy's still improving, even if he doesn't have the best ERA. If we look at like someone like Pablo Silva, his FIP is also like a 4.69, so it's a little bit high, but it's not outrageously bad, like over 5 or over 6. And then you have also Sparbori, who's at 4.26. So I think our pitching has been okay, but obviously it does need some work. And hopefully those guys can get those ERA numbers down a little bit. But anyways, before we get into the year 13 draft and seeing what we're able to snag up to help build up our depth a little bit, we do have a couple comments to go over. So the first one is from Nick Baca Barons OC, who says, Moser or Maloney, but I think you end up with Davies. So he's thinking that we're going to end up getting with Davies, which is somebody I wasn't really even planning on drafting. But if we end up having to, we might have to go with him. He does not look like that bad of a player, to be honest, if we want to look for pitchers. But pitcher is not really our main thing of need, but we probably could still draft him anyways if all the other players that we want go off the board in the first round, since we have a late first round pick. But basically our mandatory kind of needs right now are third base, shortstop, and in right field as well is kind of a little bit barren. Then it's center field and left field. So we might need to look for a right fielder to replace somebody like O'Donnell eventually. And then, yeah, shortstop and third base is something we definitely need. So he said Moser or Maloney. Moser is another starting pitcher. Moser looks pretty good as well for the most part. Not as good as Davies, in my opinion. This guy's kind of more of a stamina kind of guy. Has the arm strength as well. I don't really sold on the rest of the numbers, but he still might have a high ceiling, so maybe he'll be able to develop some of those areas he's not so good in. And then Maloney is probably going to be the highest one on my list other than the other third baseman available. This guy doesn't have a huge bonus demand, and he looks like he's going to be a really good contact hitter in the future with some solid vision and discipline at the plate too. So I think this guy would probably be up there as one of my top picks, as well as the other third baseman we were looking at in last episode. But if for some reason all those guys are off the board by our pick, then we could go for maybe a pitcher instead. And then the last and final comment is from I Am Dragonizer, who says, you should put one of your setup pitchers as a mid-relief pitcher. Having two means the game almost never uses one of them, and I already went ahead and did that. So basically I moved Ken Robert. You guys might have already seen when I was looking at the screen. Ken Robert over to mid-relief pitcher. He only had pitched 4 innings up to this point, so he's been moved over to there. Guzman, who has pitched 18 innings, is going to be still the setup guy, and Dennis Lake will still be the closer because he's been outstanding so far this year. So that is going to be our not really new look bullpen, but a little bit of a swap up, and hopefully Ken Robert could be decent as a mid reliever with all these other guys. So anyways, those were the comments I got in last episode, because I am recording this a day afterwards. So if you get your comments in afterwards, I apologize, but I just really want to get into this, and I kind of want to just get through the season as fast as possible in a way, because of the fact this team should be a playoff team regardless. And then once we get into the playoffs, obviously, is when we don't know where we're going to end up. So hopefully we end up in the World Series by the end of this next few episodes. But yeah, let's advance another week, I think. Yeah, let's advance another week, because we do still got 2 more weeks of scouting, I think. You guys didn't give me any suggestions for who I should be scouting out longer. But let me take a look at this. I kind of want to know a little bit more about Fontenette if he's actually that good, because Fontenette looks like, to me, a better option than somebody like Moser. So I think I'm going to take out the international generic scout, and I'm going to have him scouting Fontenette out fully. Yeah, we'll have him, yeah, scouting out Fontenette. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so Fontenette will get scouted out a little bit more. These other two we could get full, yeah, probably within the next week or so. Yeah, that's good. I just want to know about Fontenette if he actually has that maybe high of a ceiling, because I think he might be decent. We're kind of on a little bit of a slide as of late. You can see we're 5-5 in our last 10 games, so hopefully this is a good week for us. We got this last game against Baltimore. We've lost 2 of the first 3 games, which is not great. And then we have a 4-game series with the White Sox, who are above 500. So that would be probably a big series for us to at least get like 2 of the 4. And then we have Seattle, who's not doing too well. So let's see how we do in this week. And we got swept by Baltimore. That's not great. But oh well. Yeah, we are definitely on a little bit of a slide. Let's go auto-utilize on Montenegro. Ollie Gelman has sustained an injury. Let's just go keep active because he's not too long-term. Damn, yeah, we're on a big slide all of a sudden. We have lost a lot of games as of late. We've dropped down to 51-32, so this game's definitely trying to get us to not be as good anymore, which is weird. Oh yeah, I was also going to potentially change the batting order a bit because Ozzy's batting average is going up now, actually. Never mind. I might have already changed it. I don't know if I did. But yeah, we are definitely on a slide here. We're 2-8 in our last 10 games, while the Mariners and Angels in our division are 8-2 in our last 10 games. So we have teams catching up to us, which is not ideal, but hopefully that changes in this next week. Let's just take a look at scouting stuff again. Yeah, Fontenette's going to have probably a high ceiling, but he might be a really low overall player. But he actually might be a decent overall too, because a lot of his stats looking like they're in like the 70 range. There is some low stats for sure, like his fielding numbers and whatnot. He's still kind of intriguing to me, but I don't know if I would end up taking him or not. That right fielder is not looking as good as we were hoping, which kind of sucks, but he is a good fast kind of threat in a sense. Like, he's not going to have a super high ceiling, but he might be a high overall. Yeah, he might be a D potential player, to be honest. Like, he might be literally like a 68 overall and have 69 potential. I feel like that's the type of player Alexis Ponce is, which is unfortunate because we do need more right fielders. Let's get some other outfielders scouted out for this last week because we do need right fielders, some center fielders, that type of thing, and I want to know if there's anybody decent out there. Let's see. Let's get Martin Nieto scouted out, even though he might go around our spot. Who knows, to be honest, because some teams just take completely random guys off the bench or off their scouting recommended stuff. Let's also get Reyes scouted out. And we'll get one more prospect scouted out. That's going to be Pinedo. Why not? Even though some of those guys aren't really the best at scouting positional players, it's just I want to know if there's any good outfielders out there a little bit. Okay, let's continue simulating. Let's see if we're doing better this week because we got 2 more games still against Seattle. Then we play a terrible Blue Jays team and a 500-ish Mets team. Come on, guys. Let's get some wins. Hey, there's 3 straight wins, and Ollie is back. Let's go place on bench, and let's put him back into the lineup. Because we do not want Ollie being a bench guy. Who was the one that was the bench guy before? I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Steiner. It must have been Groves, right? Or no, maybe it was Bill. Was it Bill? Let's see, 104. Yeah, it has to be Bill. We're going to take Bill out. And put, yeah, because there's no way that Bill O'Donnell was there, I think. Bill's not even in this one, though, which is weird. Yeah, there's no DH anyways. There's always a DH, I think, is what people were telling me before, so. That's fine, I think, actually, right here. Yeah, Ollie needs to go in. Perfect. It's good. We are 54-32 now, and at least we're starting to win a couple games here. We've won 3 straight. Can we win some more games in a row? Yes, we can. Wow, we've won almost every game this week, so a complete reversal of last week, which is good. Let's go no on that front, and we are up at the 2035 draft now. Let's go to the draft, and let's see what we're working with. So, yeah, let's just add, I guess, everybody that's 100% scouted to our draft queue, because that's probably the best bet, so that way we have everybody that we know is going to be good. Actually, there's still like the 85%ers that might be worth putting on there too, but I'll add all the 100%ers first, because we don't want anybody with super low scouted rank to be on there. We want the guys that might be guaranteed to be good, even though there might not be much to know about in later rounds. A lot of these pitchers were 100% scouted, which is great, because that means we might be able to find ourselves some good pitchers in later rounds. We'll get the 85s afterwards. Yeah, we got a lot of scouting done this year in terms of pitching. Wait. Do you have a... Oh, wait, I already added them to mine. I was like, do we have a specific amount of players we could add to our thing? But it's because we already got there. So let's get the 85%ers added, because I want to know about those guys. Or I might want to take one of those guys if they're decent enough, which maybe not. There we go. So everybody else, I think, is below 50%. Yeah, there's a 45 and a 55. Not really sold on those guys yet, but they might be decent, but we'll still not put them on there yet. So yeah, some of these guys actually might not be bad, but we might have to wait till next round to see if they're actually that good and take one. Yeah, that's all we're going to add to our list. So I'd say, let's see, Maloney definitely should be high on our list here. The other third baseman, Steven Burke, is a really intriguing one, because he's going to be probably really solid out of the gate, but he's not really what I'm looking for, I think. Trey Eddy was pretty solid, and then Dan Wynn was the one I had the most interest in. He might not have a super high potential, but the thing is, he might be the best one out of the gate, which would be good to replace somebody like Pip. But if Maloney's there, maybe we take Maloney instead because of the bonus demand and all that, and maybe he has a higher ceiling. Interesting. Let's get to the draft and see what happens. Obviously, we're drafting pretty damn late in this draft, so we got to wait a while before our pick, but we'll still take a look at all the picks up to our point, I think, just because I'm curious on what is going to go before our pick, and hope that we're going to still have players left on our board once we get there. So let's see who the Dodgers take first. So the Dodgers have first, which is funny considering Gary McAllister's over there, so I guess they're not doing too hot, or they didn't do hot last year. Tigers at 2 and Kansas City at 3. Then you have the Reds and Baltimore. How did we get swept by Baltimore if they were that bad last season? They must be a lot better this year. So the first overall pick, who is it going to be this year? Can't tell. Don't recognize the face, to be honest. It's Arthur Burnett. Nobody we scouted out. He's a catcher. So that's intriguing. Is this guy a really good catcher, or is he a project catcher? Our scouts had him at 37, even though they didn't scout him at all. But there is Burnett. That's another kind of position we kind of could use if Sixto wasn't a catcher. Like Sixto being an outfielder originally. Like if we didn't change him over to catcher, we probably would have been in a bad hole in that spot. Tigers at 2 take Russell Simpson, who is the guy we scouted out. Our scouts had him at 10. The MLB had him at 5. He might be a pretty solid overall out of the gate, and he might have a decent potential. So there's the Tigers pick. And then finally the third overall pick, which was the Reds, I think I said. No, it's not the Reds. Who is it? Oh, the Royals. Who did it was it say? Oh, Steven Burke goes already. Okay, so yeah, we do know that this third base pool is a good third base pool. So unfortunately, we will not be getting Steven Burke, but I think the Royals got maybe a decent high overall player. He might be honestly like a C potential player though too, with a high overall, which would not be great, but I mean at least he could turn into like an Aussie type deal. But there is Steven Burke, one of the guys we were kind of looking at. Hopefully one of those third basemen fall to us, and if it's Maloney, so be it. He might be more of a project guy, but at least he gives us more third baseman depth. The Reds take Seth Blank, who I don't think I scouted. No, I did not. He's a closer. Our scouts had him at 21, even though they didn't scout him at all. MLB had him at 4, where he goes. William Dalton goes to the Baltimore Orioles. Starting pitcher looks pretty mid, to be honest. Like, he might have an 86 potential, which is solid, but... And Moser is already gone, so unfortunately, Nick Moser is gone to Seattle, so we will not be getting Cecil Moser. Not that I was really looking into him anyways. David Koo goes, so there's a lot of pitchers going off the board here. He goes to the Pirates. We didn't scout him at all. Alberto Da Costa, another pitcher. He goes to the Guardians. I always want to say the Cubs for some reason, just based on like the color scheme. Martin Nieto already goes. Damn, that kind of sucks because he was a right fielder that I was maybe looking at. Maybe, because we do need right fielders too. Sam Stevenson goes, another starting pitcher. He goes to St. Louis. Yeah, there's a lot of pitchers going off the board here. No other third baseman has gone since Burke. Carmen Pulido goes. There's another starting pitcher who might be a really low potential. That's a pretty big risk, but then again, we didn't scout him at all. He might actually have a really good ceiling. Colby Morris goes. That's the first baseman to go in the draft. He goes to the Padres. Who are the Angels going to go after? Lincoln McGinnis, who apparently we did scout out a lot. I believe he was one of the guys on our board because he was 85% scouted. So he goes to the Angels. Freddie Hernandez goes. There's another starting pitcher off of the board. A lot of these guys we did scout out, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And there goes another right fielder, and it's Alexis Ponce, who our scouts were not a huge fan of. He might have an okay potential, but he also might be a D potential player. Kevin Hinojosa goes to the Yankees as second baseman. That's the first second baseman to go in this draft. Might be a project, might be a good player, though. Ah, Dan Wynn goes. Damn, that sucks. That sucks. He goes to the Braves. So unfortunately, we will not be getting Dan Wynn, who I think is going to be a pretty good player. We'll definitely have to take a look at him once we get to the signing phase. Augustine Geronimo goes to the Cubs, starting pitcher as well. Trey Eddy's off the board now too. Damn, all these third basemen are going. He goes to the Blue Jays. Another guy I kind of wanted. Oh, I hope Maloney falls to us, because if he doesn't, then we're going to have to probably go with a pitcher. Cedeno goes to the Twins. It's been a lot of the pitchers in this first round. Carmen Reyes goes already. Another guy we were kind of looking at center fielding wise. He goes to the Giants. A couple more picks to our selection. Brian Yan, the closer, who is supposed to be ranked number 1, and goes to the Brewers at 22. What is Tampa going to get? Tampa takes Maloney. Oh my goodness, damn it. Well, we did not get a third baseman in this draft. If we would have had a little bit more luck on our side, we could have got one. All of the third basemen I wanted are gone. Rafael Orozco goes to the Red Sox. Diamondbacks take McClendon, who's another pitcher. And what are the Phillies going to get? The Phillies take Justin Owens, who's a center fielder. Okay, so, well, that sucks. All those third basemen are gone, which means we're left to a bunch of starting pitchers. There is still Burt Burks, but I honestly think I could get him way later, and he's a major project, so I'm not going to take him this early. Let's see what we got here. Looking for somebody maybe with a high ceiling. We know Burks is a project player I could take later. I am not sold on what we have left. Larry Hendricks. Larry Hendricks actually looks pretty decent right now, but he's a project. But he might have a decently high overall. Like, he might be a 54. I'm going to move him to... Actually, I don't want to move him to the top of my list. I can't just reorder this. That sucks. Huey Colbert. Solid, but I don't think I'd take him. Broderick Rosales might be solid in the future, but kind of average. Oh, there is Davies still. Like Nick was saying, it's like Nick already read the draft class thing. Yeah, we might have to go with Davies here. There is a closer, though. We do need more closers, technically, because we got already a couple, but some of them, none in a system, basically. Kyle Brown is kind of intriguing to me. Our scouts have him as the 4th best prospect right now. And if they are right, that would be amazing. And our scouts say that Fontenette's the best prospect in baseball. Do we trust them, though? You know what? I think I'm going to take a chance with Fontenette. Let's see. Let me look at this. There is 4 blue stats. Fontanet has 3. So Fontanet might be hypothetically a little bit worse than Davies. Davies has 1 green. Fontanet has no green. So yeah, Davies might be the better of the two. 67, 60. I mean, we have another pick kind of in the next 10 picks. So if we're lucky, maybe Fontanet falls that far. I don't think the closer makes it super far, though. But, yeah, let's take Davies here. Let's go with what Nick is saying, because Nick is usually pretty good with these things. So, let's take David Davies with our first pick. Even though I kind of really wanted to get a third baseman in the first round, we get stuck with a pitcher. Hopefully next year we could get a good third baseman in the first round instead. Let's see who else goes in round 1, though, after our David Davies selection. Rockies take... Who are they going to take? Lamar Herbert. Lamar Herbert, another catcher. So the first catcher since Burnett, who went first overall. Fernando Castro, a center fielder, goes. Maybe we should have went for an outfielder with our pick, but we didn't really scout them out good enough. So would have been not worth the risk. And the White Sox take Luis Son. So there's your entire first round of the draft. That's a relief pitcher going at 30. Interesting. We do have our pick at 38, so let's hope that Fontanet is still there. And hopefully maybe Kyle Brown's still there. I will probably look at some other players too, but let's see if one of those two guys is still there. Because I kind of want Fontanet, and I kind of want Kyle Brown if we're lucky. But I don't know if we will get Kyle Brown. We'll have to get probably one or the other, unless both of them go off the board before our pick. Let's see if that will happen or not. Twins take Dan Guerrero. Interesting. Who is Miami going to take? They are going to take with their selection Clarence Conrad. What a name. I always love the generated names in this game. And just because they're so much different than NHL generated names. Harvey Bake goes. And then who is Cincinnati going to take? Cincinnati takes Broderick Rosales. Okay. So I think I am going to go for Fontanet here. I feel like Fontanet's a really good starting pitcher prospect. Technically, we could use a closer, though, is the thing. Because we do need, like I said, we don't have closers much in our system. 67 and 7th. I feel like I might... well, actually, the bonus demand's really high on Kyle Brown. Fontanet's much cheaper, so you know what? We're going to go for Fontanet because of that. Because I don't have the money to be giving to Kyle Brown, really, with the bonus demand. So, Cedric Fontanet, hopefully you're actually a really good steal. If you're even a project player, I will take it. But hopefully you're really good. Okay, let's sim up to our next pick. See what's still on the board here. Kyle Brown went easily early in the second round, but obviously we didn't have really a lot of money. There's still a lot of pitchers, but I honestly don't want to keep just drafting pitchers every single year because I always tend to do that. But let's go all prospects and see if there's anything in the areas we need here. Like, I honestly might want to just take players off the board here. Like, just random guys in areas we need. Do we still have that one third baseman I was looking at, or did he get taken already? Burt Burks is still there. Okay, so Burks will probably be selected in 2 rounds, likely. He's likely going to be a selection of ours regardless. So we don't really need to look at third baseman. Shortstop is another area we need, but I don't see any one I want to take at this stage, or that's supposed to go around this stage. Unless Cortez is that good. Left fielding wise, let's see, 65 for Jason Byler. Jason Byler is intriguing, but he also might be really bad. Let's see. Rich Mitre. Supposed to go 39th, so this guy is already past his pick, apparently. There's also this guy in Sanchez. It's not sold on Sanchez, maybe. Gonzalez. I feel like we should probably go for another outfielder. Yeah, I think I'm going to give a risk with Jason Byler. because he might have a really high ceiling, he might have a really low ceiling, but if those contact numbers, those vision numbers are accurate, those would be awesome. Also, the arm strength, the stealing, like, he would be a great outfielder. So let's take a random chance in the dark with Jason Byler here. I know you guys might be like, why not go with somebody you actually scouted? Well, I want to take some risks here. We might as well, because we need to find players in the areas we need to. We can't always just be going for the best available, so to speak. So let's sim to our next pick here, see what's on the board. 101. Oh, did our third baseman go? Are you kidding me? Oh, no, he's still there. Okay. 156. Our scouts say 146, which our next selection is 131. We should be able to get him next round, which means I'll go for another player in a random area. Not a lot of center fielders left. We should have maybe went for a center fielder. These guys still might be good. Like, center fielding might be a really deep pool, or it might not be. Still Pete Davies. Didn't we take just a Davies right now? David Davies? It'd be interesting to have two Davies on the team, but don't know if that guy's worth taking. Shortstop. Is there anybody that's worth, like, just taking a random shot on? Like I said, I'm going to take Burks next round if I can. Let's see. Not sold on a lot of these type of guys. What about all prospects? Pete Davies is supposed to go around this point. But there's also Gonzalez, who might be a great power hitter for the future, and probably not, but we could take a shot on him. Let's take a shot on Anton Gonzalez. I know it's a lot of risk with those picks, but it is what it is. Now we should be able to get Burks. Yes, we can. So Burt Burks, welcome to Vancouver. We needed a third baseman, and we got one. Might be more of a project player like some of the other third basemen, but I like that pick. Let's see, round 5. We do still have a couple guys left on our list. Larry Hendricks is one of them, and Larry Hendricks might be really good. Might be a good project pitcher. So I think I'm going to take Larry Hendricks here. He might not be that good too, but we're going to take him anyways. Give ourselves another project player to probably build up. And then there's still 2 players left on our board, but they don't look like the best players. Actually, Deion Biggs looks okay, but I don't know if he's going to be that great, to be honest. So I don't think I would take him. But there's, like, probably not much else we could take at this stage. Is there anybody with, like, a good ceiling? No, not really. The highest potential player might be an 84 potential, and it's a catcher. And he might be really low overall. So I think we're going to go for Biggs. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I like his stats, I think, a little bit better than Parker's. Yeah, let's go with Deion Biggs here. Didn't really want to draft that much starting pitchers this year, but it is what it is. And there is our draft. Hopefully we have enough bonus allotment money to sign those guys all up. Okay, so let's see who's in the home run derby this year. American Family Field. Where is that again? Oh. I don't know what team's field that is, to be honest. And pretend I don't know, or do know, you know. It might be the Brewers, I don't know. Giancarlo Sixto is the only one to make it to the home run derby for us. Not a surprise. That's exactly who I was expecting. And let's see what we got All-Star game-wise. Who made it to the All-Star game this year for us? I know there's probably a few selections. Let's just go play a full game here so we can kind of see what's on the roster. So Garth Howe has made it, which is great. Of course he would make it. So there's one All-Star. And Dennis Lake has made it as a closer. So we got 2 pitchers, which is nice. Then we also have Sixto as the catcher. So there's 3 players. Bill Pineda has made it as a bench player. So there's 4 players in the All-Star game. Great to see Pineda there. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Ozzy did not make the All-Star game this year, but that's okay. 4 All-Stars. I will take it. Pretty solid. Let's get through this as the NL has beaten the AL. And now we can finally start to sign our picks here, which is exciting. Let's see. Okay, so obviously we want to sign the early guys right now. So Davies, Let's try and get you a little bit up there. He declines the first offer. Come on, man. Let's remove him for now. Let's try and get Fontenette signed up. He declines as well. Oh my goodness. Please, boys. Let's try and get Hendricks signed. He should be easy. Oh my goodness. Why is everybody rejecting? I'm giving you a little bit more than you're asking for, too. We need to get Byler scouted out more so we can get him, his contract interest a bit higher. Let's get Fontenette's interest up there a bit too as well. Actually, we should put Burks up there too, because Burks is somebody we need to kind of sign. I kind of need to sign all these guys, but if I end up not getting them all, we could sign some of them in the off season. Let's go an entire week and see if any of those guys, or not entire week, kind of entire 3 days, see if those interest meters go up a decent chunk. Let's see, sign draft picks. We'll remove these guys for now, and we'll try getting Fontenette again. Come on, Fonty. Hey, there we go. Fontenette is accepted. Davies will get you in, hopefully, too. Yep, there we go. They were just waiting a week. Larry Hendricks, you want to accept too? No, you want to decline at 78%. Okay. Okay, we see here. Dion Biggs actually has a lot of interest. I didn't realize that. Let's just get him signed up because he's cheap. And then we'll get all these other guys, their interest meters higher. We'll find out more about them. I technically signed them all regardless. Let's get those interest meters higher. Actually, Burks should probably be number 1 technically, but it's okay. We have 18 days. Should be more than enough time to get that interest meter up there. Let's go another 3 days. We're still winning games, which is great. 3 wins in a row. We are 61-34. We're all of a sudden 8-2 in our last 10 games. A lot better than when we started this episode. Let's see. Remove all these guys, or at least one of them, so we could sign the Larry Hendricks, because he should be able to accept. He has accepted. Perfect. And that just leaves these 3 guys, which hopefully we can get those interest meters high and up. Let's go 3 days, and I probably have to go another 3 days to sign them up. Yeah, we're winning a lot of games all of a sudden. I think we'll probably still be the best team in baseball, unless we fell off too much after that 1 week that we had, 63-34. We'll definitely take a look at our stats after we get to that point. Okay, I had to make sure my Elgato was not frozen, because obviously I don't want to run into those issues. Let's go another couple days here. See if we can play good against Arizona. We win 1, we lose 1, and win the other one 14-1. My God, this team is doing well. Okay, let's see if we could get... Gonzalez is not looking great, honestly, but I'm going to probably still sign him. We have the money, I think, right? For all these guys? Yeah, we do. Let's give that a little bit more. Gonzalez accepts. Let's get Burks and Byler up there more. Byler's looking okay, but I don't think he's going to be that great of a player, unfortunately. But at least it still gives us more depth, in a sense. Let's see. There's a win and a loss, So we lost the series against Seattle. Okay. Burks. Let's get that interest meter as high as possible almost. There you go. And that leaves us with just Jason Byler, which we should be able to get. We might not get him, but we could sign him in the off season if he's worth it, which he probably will be. But okay, let's go here, and he needs another few days, which means he's going to come down to the last day, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Let's go, yes. Boom. We got to go one more day, unfortunately. A little bit of a losing streak to end the month, but that's okay. 67-40. We're still 4.5 games up on the Rangers. And then Astros, Angels, and Mariners are way out of it. Well, Astros not so much, but the other teams are. I didn't want to go to contracts. I wanted to go to sign draft picks. Let's see if we could get Jason Byler in with the remaining money we have. We can get him to 59%, and he declined. So Jason Byler, unfortunately, will not sign. He was a second-round pick, so wasn't looking too good either, but we might have to sign him in the offseason. So if you guys could remind me about potentially bringing in Byler in the offseason, that'd be great. So there is that. That sucks. I hate when we have players that reject. Let's go a day, and we should be able to find out our draft picks, which is exciting. And we'll take a look at around the league to see what the rest of the league drafted as well. And then we could take a look at how our team is still doing the season. And in the next episode, we'll simulate the rest of the season. So, how did we do for picking that late in the first round? That's not bad. B potential is okay. It's better than getting a C potential player at that stage. 60 overall at 18 is decent. Davies definitely needs to work on his hits per 9 and his strikeouts a 9. His walks per 9 is pretty good. His home runs a 9 is decent enough, but it needs to definitely work still on that. Velo is pretty good as well. His break, not so much. He's got good arm. Accuracy is solid. Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad. Considering where we were drafting, I'll take it. He has 4 different pitches as well. A 4-seamer, a change-up, slider, and a 2-seamer. Our next selection here, this is where it's going to go randomly off the board. Oh my goodness, Fontenette was that good. Let's go. What a steal. I knew Fontenette was going to look good. That might be one of our best steals since Garth Howe. Well, Garth Howe was a 4th rounder, but Cedric Fontenette, A potential at 1861 overall. This guy already has really good walks per 9, but he does still need to work on the hits per 9, the Ks per 9, the home runs per 9, but this is a huge addition, obviously, because if we lose somebody in our pitching rotation eventually, Fontenette might be the guy that gets in there. I know we already have a lot of pitchers, but this guy is going to be pretty high up on the depth chart. I like that. That's a really good selection. The stamina is also pretty high, so he might be able to go decently long into games. Not as long as somebody like Gary was, but still. I like that. Let's go. That's a great steal. I was debating taking him with our first rounders, so hopefully that closing pitcher is a lot worse. So there's Fontenette. Oh, Gonzalez was D potential. He's a 63 at 18, so that's good, but he's a D potential player. He does have solid power, so maybe he could outgrow that, but I honestly don't know if he will. His vision and discipline are pretty low, so I feel like this was kind of a big woof, but in a sense, he's got a good overall at 18. It just, he doesn't have the potential. That sucks. Burt Burks, B potential, 44 overall. We knew he was going to be a project player. Sucks he's not A potential, but I will take that. That gives us a bit more depth at third base. Sucks that we didn't get one of the 4 third basemen that went in the first round, though, because I think those guys are going to be pretty good, and that's an area we need, so there is Burks. Larry Hendricks, also solid, but another project as we were expecting. B potential, 47 overall at 18. Does need to work in pretty much everything. His home runs per 9 is his best category per 9, so that's not bad, but definitely needs some work. What else we got here? Dion Biggs, D potential, 59 at 19. Oh well. Gives us more depth. I'm okay. It's not a great pick, but I'll take it. And then there's Davies again. So I would say it was an okay draft for us. Davies isn't going to be a high, super good player. Like, he's going to be a solid to like number 3 guy, maybe a number 2 guy at best. But still not bad. He could also outgrow this potential. Fontenette's probably the one I'm most excited about. And then Burt Burks is solid for like a project player. Same with Larry Hendricks. Gonzalez and Biggs, not really sold on them, but hopefully they can kind of outgrow those potentials a bit if they play good in double and triple. Let's take a look at the picks around the league. Just look at the best players that got taken. Cecil Moser, who was one of the guys you guys were mentioning, or Nick was mentioning, 88 potential, 62 overall, so he's not even really as good as Fontenette. He's 1 overall better, but lower potential, and 1 year older. So, a couple other 80s. Let's see what else we got here. Ponce was not that great as I was expecting, so our scouts did a decent work. I think they said between a 62 and an 89, but he's a 74. Potentially, he's only a 58. Yikes. Patrick Williams is okay. Malcolm Muriel, decent. Dan Wynn was not as good as we were thinking. Okay. He's a 64 at 18, but he's got 78 potential. He does have good contact hitting, though, so he would have been kind of like an Aussie type deal at third base. He was the guy I wanted kind of the most out of those third basemen. So kind of glad we got the pitcher instead in a way, but this guy would have been still kind of helpful to take over for Pip eventually. What else we got here? Castro, pretty solid, but 20 years old already. Polito, good project player. Caruso, nah. 63 at 21 is a little low, but it's still decent enough. What else we got here? Freddie Hernandez is really good. That's one guy we were scouting out. Roger Salinas, 58 at 22. Yeah, not that great, but good potential. Geronimo's solid. Phil Ingebrigtsen. I don't think I've ever seen that last name. Good project left fielder. Too bad we didn't really see him at all. Seth Blank, pretty good closer. 66 at 20, 93 potential. Broderick Rosales, also a solid project player, but he's 21 already. And Reggie Jenkins, not a bad closer prospect. Or not closer, relief pitcher prospect. Brian Yan is pretty good too as a closer, but he is a 69 at 21, so a little bit of a lower overall for a 21-year-old, but still he'll develop into being a good closer at the MLB level. Lauren Wood, solid as well for closer. Not as good though. Michael Pryor, really solid relief pitcher prospect there for the Brewers, who are building up a pretty good pitching bullpen and rotation. David Koo, pretty solid, but he was a high pick. Kurt Young, good steal there of a catcher for them. Good project. Brian McClendon, 69 at 23, 82 potential only. Steven Sanchez, solid prospect. And Ernest Beasley, a major project, 39 at 20. My God. Lamar Hebert was this guy that won first overall? No, that was a different catcher, right? Yeah, this was the guy that won late in the first round, I think. Yeah, 59 overall. 85 potential, not terrible. Casto, another solid prospect. Yeah, some solid prospect picks there for the Rockies. Not bad. Burnett was the guy that went first overall. He's a 64 at 18 with 91 potential. Not too bad there for Arthur Burnett. It's pretty good. There's also Russell Nixon, who I was kind of looking at him shortstop wise, but I didn't know for sure, like before this episode, I think. 46 at 19, major project, but still good pick there. Nothing there for the Padres. Damn. Okay. William Choi, solid, I guess. Juan Ruiz, solid there, but 21 already. Irizarry, nothing there at all for the Red Sox. They had a pretty bad draft, it looks like. J.J. Pagan was the best pick by the Yankees. Good project, shortstop. And there's Maloney. That's what we were wanting. He was way better than Dan Wynn. 65 overall at 18, 91 potential. He was the guy I really wanted. He would have been able to take over Pip's role easily within a few years. Damn, that sucks. I do like our pick still of getting another good starting pitcher, but when Maloney could have fallen to us, that kind of hurts. Like, that contact hitting is great, and yeah, the vision and discipline is pretty solid too, so he should do really solid at the MLB level once he gets there. Damn, man. I hate when the AI takes players that I want. Trey Eddy's another player that's kind of like the other guy we were looking at that went to the Braves that I can't remember his name for some reason now. He's a 66 at 18, 77 potential, has good power hitting, not really the best vision and discipline, but I'm kind of glad we didn't take those guys if we had the chance. But I kind of wish I still had Maloney, just because that was a guy we kind of needed. Nothing there for the White Sox, which is kind of good for us. Slinger and DaCosta are okay. Same with Salazar. Russell Simpson. This guy was a second overall pick, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was the second overall pick. He's decent. 74 at 18 is great. And his hitting numbers are pretty good. So this guy should be a really good player, even though he's only got the B potential. And Medeiros is a solid project. Steven Burke, who went third overall, is not super great. He was one of the other guys we were looking at third base-wise. He's a high overall with a low potential, but he's got the hitting tools to be decent, I think. Kyle Brown, oh man, this was the closer we were looking at. I think we made a good choice with Fontenette instead, but This would have been really good to have in our system, considering like Dennis Lake is getting older and all that. Like, we definitely need to start looking into closers eventually. Anything else intriguing in this draft? Cedeno is okay. Vargas is solid. Martin Nieto I was looking at. He's okay. Kind of sucks that we didn't get him, but it is what it is. He's a good power hitter. Pretty much it. Mark Bush. We're almost there. Lincoln McGinnis. Pretty good pick there for the Angels. And Hector Matos. Major project, though. 51 at 23. And there's that. I think we had a pretty good draft, all things considered. A lot of other teams had really bad ones, so I will take that. Final things we want to do in this episode is take an updated look at the standings. I'm not going to take a look at the player stats in this episode because I want to leave that for the end of the season, but currently we are 68-40. We have scored 548 runs, which is the best in the AL West, but are we the best team in baseball right now? Still. The Yankees are 68-41, okay. So it's us and the Yankees that are the best two teams. The Yankees are a little bit worse than us just because they have one more loss. But technically it's us and the Yankees that are the best team in baseball right now. And let's compare the two of us. We've scored 548. They've scored 561, so they're better offensively than us. We've allowed 459. They've allowed 453. So they're better offensively and defensively than us. But they have played one more game as well. That's going to be interesting to see who ends up coming out of the AL between the two of us to get into maybe the World Series. So there is that. Wow, the Rangers are in a wild card spot. Same with the Red Sox, and both of them have over 60 wins. That's kind of nuts. That is kind of nuts. I think that's all I wanted to take a look at. Actually, team stats right now. Let's go team rankings. Fourth best in batting average. Yankees are 1. We're second in runs, only behind the Yankees. Doubles were up there. I want to see if our pitching has improved, because we know that our batting is good, but has our pitching improved? We don't throw that much errors, which is good. Fielding's good. ERA-wise, it's 15th. I don't really like that. We might have to kind of readjust some things a bit with our pitching rotation. We do got guys that we'll be able to call up next episode, which is good, but yeah, the Yankees are better than us in terms of pitching. They're 9th, though, so they aren't necessarily the best team either. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate the rest of the regular season. We'll see what this team does. We should be a playoff team, but obviously we could still fall apart, and I hope that we end up getting really far this year, because obviously with the impending free agents this offseason, this might be one of our biggest shots to win the World Series before we end up losing guys. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.